Hello, Steve Arts 89. So I've recently done like a Friday the 13th marathon. I do this every Friday the 13th and only on Friday the 13th. But this year I was watching a lot of the fan films, or the last couple of years I've been sort of looking out and looking out for and watching some of the fan films. And something I find fans do, which is really annoying, because I was going to say, the films don't do this because they know better, but the fan films, the fans always think they know better. And I sort of was watching the film like, you know what, they have done it in the films, but they're a lot more subtle about it. The sort of the killer is still alive sort of thing that they normally do, it's subtle. Now, in the first film, it was a dream. Jason was a dream. He wasn't meant to actually exist. In the second film, they do leave it ambiguous. You don't know if Jason's dead. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happened to Paul. That's good. It should be ambiguous. You should feel like it's over. The killer's dead, but is he? But you don't know. And you're sort of wondering, will there be another film? Is it over? That works. It makes you think. It makes you come out and it makes you sort of want to go back. The third film, they kind of tried to build a couple of those sort of dream sort of things up, and they sort of had the lady in the lake, but then they didn't sort of do... actually, I'm thinking of part two. Part two had another ending where the eyes of Mrs. Voorhees' head was supposed to open. In the third film, they just had Mrs. Voorhees actually come back as a ghost. The fourth film, they had the dream they didn't use. Sorry, that was when the mother was in the bathtub and you see Jason, but it is just a nightmare that Trisha's waking up from, and you don't know what actually happened, what she's just remembering or what she's imagining because she's in the hospital now. And that worked again because they left it ambiguous. And then there was a double sort of thing where then they sort of had that close up on Corey Feldman, and you're like, oh, is he been messed up by this experience, and now is he going to go out and be a killer, or be Jason, or is he damaged, or is he actually possessed by the spirit of Jason? And then in the next film, they play on that even more, where even though the killer's definitely dead, you see this ghost Jason keeps coming back, and has he finally possessed him at the end? You don't know, because in the next film he comes back as the hero. And this is probably one of the better ones where they give you that, they let you know Jason's still alive, his eye sort of moves, but he's sort of, it's like he's under the lake. It's like he's in some sort of spell. It's some part of the curse that he's back into the water. And that's a way to trap him. And it's not that he physically couldn't get the chain off his neck if he really wanted to, but it's like it's mystical, it's mysterious, it's interesting, it works. And sort of the same thing with part 8. He gets pulled down. Part 7, he gets pulled down by the father. And part 8, he's sort of just down there under some stuff. And he gets, shocked awake by electricity. At the end of the film, again, it's sort of ambiguous and weird, and a lot of people get upset about it. I'm like, you realise the people who are seeing this are probably high from all the fumes from all these gases, so they're probably just imagining this Jason being changed back into a boy, and the sort of cleansing of the waste and the chemicals, sort of turning him back into this sort of child and going back. It's more symbolic than anything, and maybe they're imagining things, and people get really caught up on how stupid it is. And I think it's actually a bit more interesting than people give it credit for. Now, the ninth film, Jason's dead, Jason's gone, he's down in hell, but Freddy's there with him. And then we get the next film, we see they're both in there, because you knew how that was going to end. Jason couldn't die, Freddy could die in the real world, but then he'd go back into his world and he'd be Freddy again. And, does Jason dream? It was never going to be, who's actually going to win. There was never going to be a real winner. There was no point placing your bets, like that line that was never in the film. Then when you get to like the remake film, they did what the fan films do, where they had that ending where they undermined the whole film. It's like, oh, he bursts up through the thing and kills. So, they didn't survive. She's not the last girl, because he's just about to kill her. So one of the things that film did, which is why it wasn't that well received, I think, it undermined itself, because the other ones, they let you know Jason's kind of still there, he might come back, but you don't actually see him come back. Whereas the fan films, they always have him come back. It's like, oh, he's there, like, they think the audience is stupid and they need to be told that, and they're not wanting any mystery. Like, they need to be told, don't worry, he's coming back. It just doesn't work. And they did that with a couple of fan films. There was the one with Adrienne King, where she comes back sort of as the character, but the character's dead, but she sort of comes back, but she's not stated to be her, but we kind of know it's her. And she takes the head, and then we see Jason. And you assume she's far away from the lake. She heard the radio message, but you assume she's far away from the lake. And then you see Jason come up out of the lake, of course, because they have to have him come back. And then he looks up at her apartment. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you have killed her before if she's just sitting that close? Because the idea is he only kills people that come into the campgrounds. So you're safe in the town. You can live in the town, and that was sort of the idea, that they live with Jason at peace. They keep out of his grounds, and he stays out of the town, and there's like an understanding. And so then when people go in, that there's a problem. But then they keep breaking that by having him come back and people living there. It's just a lot of the fan films had some really stupid moments. And I just want to comment on that whole having to have Jason burst up at the end to show he's still alive, he's still there. That undermines the whole rest of the film, makes it all pointless. And any victory that any of the final girls or final guys had is just wasted. And it ruins any film that does that. So I just had to comment on that as a general flaw. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Bye.